Hey everyone, so this video is specifically about the soil amendments I'm going to be using in our garden, and I've already shown you some things like the pine needles that I put in the middle of the garden where I intend to have most of my tomatoes to help with acidity. And we've started with the cardboard layer and then the leaves and the mulch and the my compost and the organic compost. So all of that is part of soil amending, but this is going to be specific things that I'm doing in addition to that. So that's a really, really great foundation, but we can do even better. And like John Kohler says, good, better, best. So let's never let it rest. Now I got some peat moss here, and peat moss isn't something that I normally, I love peat moss and everything, but this is a new garden. These are newly formed cement bricks for the wall, and cement will start to leach lye into your soil, and lye makes the soil more alkaline, which doesn't make your plants that happy at all. So you can combat that with peat moss, something more acidic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting the peat moss in through the first few inches of soil, specifically focusing on the outer area. I'm going to get it pretty heavy along the outer area to really help with that. So that's going to be amendment number 1, and we'll go from there.
The title says Beyond Organic. Now, what is Beyond Organic? Organic means what is not present in the soil. There's about 80 plus toxins that we do not want to have present in the soil because they are absorbed in the plants and then absorbed by us. So that is organic. Beyond Organic is what we put into the soil. Those nutrients that the plants can absorb that we then want to absorb. And most of the even organic produce that's out there in the supermarket is so deficient because the soil is depleted. We can do better, and I encourage you to do the same in your own gardens.
I spent 2 days trying to get water to permeate all through there, and then we got a couple of days of rain in California. Go figure. So I didn't even have to do that, and it would have been great if I had checked the weather. There's going to be dogs growling and playing in the background, so sorry about that. Today we're going to be starting soil amendment, and I'm so excited. My shipment from Boogie Brew came. And right here I have premium worm castings. Really excited about that. For those of you who don't know, worm castings are pretty much when a worm eats through the soil, it's everything that comes out of their body. So it's already so rich and perfect for your soil. It's exactly what you want for your soil all over for a healthy soil. So you put that in your garden, and so while you're waiting for your worms to get established, hopefully you have worms in your garden and they're thriving there. This is a huge boost for your garden. It's going to give you a noticeable change in production and the health and vitality of your plants. I also have Worm Gold Plus that they sent me, and this is going to be really awesome as well. I'm going to use both of these bags, and I have 2 extra besides to use later on, and we'll see how far I can get this to spread. So I'm going to layer this on the top and then dig it into my soil to have really, really rich stuff on top. One really cool study that I saw about worm castings is they're also showing to be effective as pest control. So it's kind of like the good bacteria has already taken over the area, so the bad bacteria can't get a foothold. Same with insect population. If you've got one colony already established, an invasive colony has a really hard time getting a foothold in there, which is exactly what we want. We want a healthy, vital soil that's full of the good bacteria and the good microorganisms that we really want in there that are going to benefit our plants. And then another thing I got, so excited about this, it's called SuperCharge. Basically, if you haven't heard of biochar before, as John Kohler puts it, it's a hotel for all the good life that you want to get established in your garden. So it has little tiny compartments that the good life can get established in and grow in and set up shop. So you want them to have good homes, so they're not being fleshed out, dried out. They're able to actually stay there and be with your plants where you really want them to be. So I'm going to be putting all of this in my garden soil today. It's going to be a soppy mess, but that is what it is. It's not usually this wet out here. And it looks like the dogs have been messing with the fence again. So I'm going to have to rethink that and how I'm going to tack that down and make it a little bit more sturdy. But if you have seen this before in my previous video, this is where I'm going to be removing the fencing on either side. And then I can swing and open as many notches as I want to get at the soil here. This isn't as bad as I thought it would be. No, this is perfect. Oh, good. Because I was worried that the clouds were going to take over again and rain on me while I was working on this project. So I'm going to get this in the soil while the getting's good. Here we go. Oh man, look at that. Look how rich that is. Good stuff. Wow, just like the previous. No thank you. So can you see the difference here? We've got the compost that I had. So the light, there we go, the light's coming through there. And you can see the color of that against the color of the worm castings. If I can get just that purity right there. That is some awesome, dark, rich goodness right there. So I'm lightly tilling this in for now, because we have more to go in here. I just don't want this to blow away on me. Now that I put it on here, that would be a shame. I just noticed something really cool about these bags as soon as I emptied them. Take a look at that. This is completely recyclable and compostable. So you see that little shiny lining in there? Even that. So what I'm going to do is rip this off because it's got that little line of metal in it, like a twisty tie. And there we go. So a few years ago, I would have thought, wow, we already have all our good basics in. This is everything I learned at the Extension Garden Center, plus more, because you remember we've got our cardboard and our leaves and our active compost and our mature compost. And on top of that, we just added biochar and worm castings, things I didn't know about even, I guess I learned about them 2 years ago and started incorporating them in my gardening. I knew worms were important. I didn't know that you could purchase worm castings and how vital and awesome that would be for your garden. And it's going to get even better. We have more to put in the soil. I can't wait to show you what else I got in the mail, and it's going to be awesome. And I love the philosophy of good, better, best, and always keep reaching for that best. And that's why I may come across a lot of times as never satisfied, because anything that I'm doing, I know the next time I do it again, I can do better. There are going to be improvements. And I should not be satisfied with where I'm at, because I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect, but I need to keep reaching for the next level of what is the very best that I'm able to achieve. And I'm not saying don't be satisfied with what God has given you and who you are and that type of thing. That's not what I'm talking about. Of course, we should be satisfied with the blessings that we're given. It's when we're actually working and doing what we should be doing to improve our lives that we should not be satisfied with the work that we put out if there's ability to have improvement. So don't get complacent, don't get comfortable where you are if there's a chance to improve it, because then you will never reap the benefits of what could come, the better and the best benefits. You're just getting something good right now, and it could be so much better. So that's what I'm going for in our garden. I really have high hopes and I have high stakes for this garden, so I'm putting my all into it for that reason, as well as just because I want to do it right. There's no reason to just do it half-heartedly, because then I'm just going to get a half-hearted crop. And I've done that before, and I'm not interested in doing that this year. So this garden needs to produce, and it needs to produce big, it needs to produce beautiful, and it needs to produce healthy. And that's what we're gonna get. So let me go show you what I also got in the mail. I'm here with my helper. Thank you for helping me. We got all geared up. I had my mask on and everything too until I opened up my rock dust, and that's what we're gonna be doing next, rock dust. And it's not dusty. Somebody formulated this one into granules. So here we go. Azomite is what you want to get. And when first seeding your soil, it should be, I think it's 1 pound per square foot is John Kohler's recommendation. That is not as concentrated as they recommend here. They recommend a much more dilute concentration. I, for one, am going to be a little bit more conservative because I only have 1 bag. I ordered this off of eBay, so if you're striking out finding this at feed stores, gardening stores, etc., it's so cheap and easy to find on eBay. Just have it sent to your door. But yeah, that's my only bag, so we're going to use most of it on the garden, and I'm going to save some for the fruit trees.
I can see the rock that's awesome.
Okay. Pointing at the rock, sweetie.